Welcome to today's live stream. It's just me today, at least so far. Yesterday I did a live stream and I got a few Zoom bombers. I didn't really realize that was a thing, but apparently so. And I changed the meeting code and not everybody has the new meeting code yet, so it's just me. I'm going to share my screen and then we can get started. Okay, so what we're going to work on today is my CI platform called SaturnCI. And most recently, I built a command line interface. My reason for wanting to do this is because I want a convenient way to SSH into my job machines. And we'll see what job machines means in a minute. Um, but here's the output of my CLI tool. I can do something, here's the idea. I can do something like SaturnCI build list or something like that. And then it shows me my list of builds. And you can see it has branch, commit, status, all that stuff. Um, and bear with me a moment. I think somebody might be emailing me asking for the meeting code. That is indeed the case. So bear with me a moment while I send it. Okay. So today I want to do a couple things. The first thing I want to do is this. This has been bugging me forever, where it just says nothing here yet twice. Um, that's dumb, and I'm like embarrassed every time I see it. So let me address that. Um, let me make my font bigger for you. Nothing here yet. Okay, that apparently appears independently in 3 places. So let's take a look. Okay. Okay, so if the job is not complete, then it just has this nothing here yet. Maybe I can just add a BR at the end. Okay, and I can't see it because this job does have something here. So I'll kick off a new build. Okay, I'm just gonna rerun this. Okay, now we have nothing here yet. It's still kind of dumb that it shows up twice. There's actually like there's a reason for that because it's 2 distinct jobs. So like makes sense. Um, but I just didn't want that like obviously broken, nothing here yet, smushed together thing. So I'm happy with that. And yes, I know this is duplicative, but I don't feel like it cost me much. And so for yeah, like it doesn't cost me much. I'll probably end up changing this area sometime in the future. And when this duplication starts hurting me, at that time I'll address it. Because different duplication has different costs. In this case, the duplication is pretty easily noticeable. And if, for example, I changed one of these, this is dumb, but like nothing here yet, exclamation point. If I change one of these, but not the others, like that's not a big problem. It would be a bigger problem if this were like an actual piece of behavior where if they got out of sync, it would cause a real problem. And these are also, this instance of duplication is relatively easy to notice. If it were hard to notice, then it would be a bigger problem. Okay. Fix nothing here yet message. Okay. And by the way, I think I can run my command line thing And I can see these two things running now. Yep. So that's kind of neat. I don't even have to leave the terminal in order to see the status of my jobs. Okay. Now I not only want to be able to see my builds, I can put anything after here and it does the same thing because, I can do whatever and it still does the same thing because it just doesn't do anything with whatever I give it. So let's change that. Let's do it. Let's change it so I can do SaturnCI jobs list and see the currently running jobs. So let's figure out how to do that. So here's the executable. When I run the executable, it initializes a client and then runs the builds command. So let's make it so that's not what happens well, we can keep it so that happens by default, but we want to be able to say jobs and have it run the jobs. So let's start with the simplest possible way to achieve that. Yes. I'm trying to think of like how to write a test for this or if I want to write a test for this, but let's for starters just do this. And we have a joiner. Welcome, Brian. Um, okay, let's see. All right, so to catch you up, Brian, I'm continuing to work on my command line tool. I have a few more columns now. And I want to add something.
You had some progress getting the CLI working yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, by the way, Brian, I don't know how long were you here yesterday? Were you here long enough to see the male nudity?
No, I missed that. I had to get off at the about the top of the hour for stand up.
Yeah, it was deeply fucked up. So that's why I changed the meeting code.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and even so, somebody got here and drew a dick on the screen. So I don't know how that guy got here, but he's gone now.
The one this seems like a constant effort to try to have to keep keep people out.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying.
So
Um,
how does it happen if you have the meeting code changed?
that's an excellent question. I thought that that would have kept people out, but old JJ was able to get here and draw a dick on the screen, which apparently like doesn't go away by itself.
Uh-huh.
You see it on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, clear all drawings. There we go. No more dick. Um, and I'm gonna see if I can just like disable this for everybody. Bear with me a moment. Yeah, I don't see a way to do it. Um, oh well. Okay. Um, Picking up where we left off. Right now we have this behavior. It shows us all our builds, but right now it just like ignores anything you put after. So I could put like builds and pretend it works, but the next thing I'm interested in seeing is jobs. What if I put jobs, nothing different happens because it doesn't do anything with my input. So here's the executable that I just ran. I want to make it so instead of just indiscriminately running client.builds, it takes the input into account. And I actually don't know how to do that. So let's see if we can see. Um, there must be a Ruby equivalent of like, oh, I guess that wouldn't give anything because I didn't put anything. argv0 jobs. Okay. Um, so let's do this. We can probably do like a switch on RB. I actually don't even remember how to do a switch in Ruby. Do you, Brian?
Uh, like a case statement.
Yeah.
It's just case.
Um,
Case argv when jobs.
when jobs, and obviously we want when builds.
Yep. And always put an else on your case.
Oh
So
yeah.
find out if you're not matching anything.
Yeah. Okay, but this syntax can't be quite right, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think it's right. Yeah. Um, I'll just do this.
You need it. You need an end after the else.
Okay. I stand corrected. That was the right syntax. Sorry for doubting you. Okay, so let's create a jobs method on the client class. Okay, so we have builds, and then we want jobs. Okay, great. So that does what I want. Eventually, this like our ability to manipulate the program is going to become more sophisticated. And so we're probably going to want some tests around this, but I guess for the time being, I'm fine with no tests because it's so very simple. Um, and now maybe let's turn our attention to the actual behavior of the jobs method. I'm going to do this. No, you know what? I'm going to not do that. I'm going to go to the client spec. Okay, Saturn CLI client spec. It would appear that I don't have one. Um, so let's make one. Okay, I'm gonna copy one of my existing tests here. Describe client do. I'm just gonna run that to make sure nothing's horribly wrong, and something is horribly wrong. So let's see what it is. Cannot load such file. Oh yeah, I think I'm like one directory too far up or something like that. Okay, good. Now let's make a test for this jobs method. You know what, Brian? Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should just do like client dot, I don't know what, execute argv 0. And then this goes in the client, and that makes it more easily testable.
What if there's a command as the argument that you don't want to execute?
Good question. What do you mean?
Well, like drop from users.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I think it'll be like whitelisted.
Right.
So
Okay.
like yeah. So okay. So we can say def execute argument. Okay. And now I expect this to behave the same, but I made an error somewhere. Oh yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Okay. Let's write a test for jobs, asserting that we get something. I'm not sure what yet. It shows jobs. And so then we can say client.execute jobs. And I expect that to fail because we, of course, don't have an instance of client. So we can say client equals SaturnCI CLI client dot new. Wait, we need our username and password. Can I just do this? Let's see. Okay, we have an unexpected request to builds. And that's not surprising because when the CLI client gets initialized, it kicks off one request to builds just to verify the authentication. Um, so I guess we want to stub this authentication request. And we're doing this in at least one other place. Let's maybe see if we can find it. Stub request. Okay. Let's see. Oh, this is the authentication test. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to stub this and then maybe even move it to a helper so I don't have to duplicate it. Okay. Yeah, let's move this to a helper. I'm going to make a directory called spec Saturn CLI CLI helpers. The reason I'm doing this here is because these CLI specs are outside of Rails, and I don't want to intermix the Rails tests and the CLI tests. So I'm going to go spec Saturn CLI helpers, authentication helper .rb, I'll call it. Would you call this maybe stub authentication request? Okay. And then here we can say authentication helper dot stub authentication request. And this surely is not going to work because we have not included this file. Okay. So we can say helpers authentication helper. See if I got that right. Apparently not. Stub authentication request. Okay. Okay, still not. Oh, interesting. Undefined method stub request. So that doesn't have webmock available to it for some reason. I'm actually a little bit surprised. Hmm. Okay, let me see something. Okay. And is stub request. Okay, sub request is a class method on WebMock. So let's do this. Maybe I don't like that actually. That's weird. Okay. Can we do this? Require WebMock. Oh, can we do this? Ha, apparently we can. Okay. I'm happy with that. Okay, stub authentication request. Yeah, okay. Okay. So we're doing client.execute jobs, and we have no assertions in our test, so it doesn't fail. But we want to assert something. We want to assert that something gets output to standard out. We can do it like this. I learned this recently. Expect client.execute jobs to output expected output. For the moment, we'll just say expected output equals, hey. I know it's not going to be hey, so we'll get an error. Okay. It expected it to output hey, but the output was nothing. Okay, so let's give it some real output. We can pattern it off of this other test. So what do we want for the job output? We want a build ID. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna grab some stuff. I'm gonna grab 4 lines of this. Okay, so we have a build ID created. That's fine. Um, branch, I think, does not apply, nor does commit or commit message or status. What does apply? I don't know what else applies, but that's fine because we can just start with this much. Okay. So it's expecting that, and instead it got nothing. I'm going to clean up this test slightly before we move forward. I'm gonna move this setup to a separate setup area. Okay. Good. It still works the same. Okay, so now let's give it some job output. So let's go to client jobs. So I'm going to kind of mirror builds here. The first step is request jobs. So request will make an HTTP request to whatever endpoint I put there. Um, let's see what happens. I'm guessing some kind of failure. Yeah. So we made this request to API v1 jobs, and it wasn't expecting that. So let's stub that. And again, I think I can copy it from somewhere similar. Yeah, so here's a similar one. Where am I? Okay, I confused myself. Okay, authentication helper. We want to go down to where it says end. Oh, I see. Okay, I don't want that stub. Wait, I do want that stub. And we're stubbing jobs. Okay. And actually, I think I'm going to add another helper. Um, this can be like a helper for stubbing request bodies. Let's see. API helper. I guess I'm fine with API helper. I can always change my mind later. Oh, all right. Talk to you later, Brian. Okay. I'll move this to here. Module API helper. And we could call this stub body. I don't know. Okay. And we can say like endpoint that here. Endpoint. Endpoint and body. Okay. So here we can say API helper dot stub body API. No, let's do this v1. Maybe we want this API v1 jobs. Comma body. There. Might it be even nicer to do that? Hmm. Hmm. I'm gonna do that just because the other way seems kind of weird. Okay. And then this isn't the actual body we want. We want something more like build ID 3CB, blah, blah, blah will be the first one. Created at. Might have to change that format. Okay, we'll see what happens now. Uninitialized constant API helper, not surprising. API helper. Okay, stub body. I need a self. Yep, then I need web mock. Okay. Now we're back to where we were before. Okay, let's see. Now we need to make it so something shows up somehow. Okay. Um, Jobs. Okay. So we're going to say jobs is that, and we're going to output a table with the jobs and the options. And this will surely not work, but we'll see what happens. Okay. Options is undefined. Let's define it. Whoops. Okay. Undefined method, blah, blah, blah for no class. I'll show you what that's all about. So this display table thing that shows like the ASCII table for builds. I don't know if this is even going to work. Oh, yeah, it does. Okay. This table class is what shows this table. But it's very tightly coupled to builds. It's not going to work for jobs. But I think actually the only thing that is connected to builds is this these column definitions. So maybe instead of having that be a constant, let's have that be something that gets passed in the initializer. Okay. So this is going to be supremely nasty, but I just want to see if it works. I put this here and call it build column definitions. Okay. And here, I want to put build column definitions. I want to change the initializer to take column definitions. Okay. And then here, which I think is the only place this constant is used, replace it with the instance variable. I'd be surprised if this actually works. It does not. Okay. Okay, so this refers to helpers, which is not included here. So I guess let's do that. Still doesn't know about helpers, apparently. That's interesting. Okay, well, let's do this a different way anyway. I'm going to revert this back to what it was a minute ago. I think I want to do some refactoring and then come back and address this stuff. Okay. So I'm going to create a new branch called jobs in CLI. I'm going to commit this stuff. I'm just going to say add job stuff. I bet that's actually going to fail because we have, well, maybe it won't. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to go back to main and I'm going to do some refactoring. Output table. I'm going to do some refactoring to make output table less tightly coupled with builds. But first, I don't like the name output table. I never really did. I think I'm going to rename it to just table. Okay, all the tests pass. So I'm gonna rename this to just table. I'm gonna change the file name. Whoops. Okay, move output table, table, move output table column to table column. Should it be just column? Maybe it should. Whoops. Okay, table, column, row. Okay, no output, no table also. Okay. Okay. Now, do we have output anywhere? Oh, yeah. Okay. We do. Okay, that's a different kind of output. Okay, and then stuff in the spec directory. Okay, so we want to move this output table spec to just table spec. I think this is the last one. Okay, see if this test passes. It does. See if all the tests pass. Whoops. There we go. They do. Review my changes just to make sure there are no surprises. And I'll just say rename table classes. Okay. Getting more emails. I just got to make sure that they are not people trying to get in. Okay. Um, I'm just curious how my builds are doing, so let's check that out. Okay. So this one passed, this one's still running. I really like the ability to check those right here in the terminal. Um, okay. Now let's go back to our other branch, I guess. No, I still need to, okay. Table. I still need to refactor this. Okay. Column definitions. Well, here's one idea. We can have something called a build table. Um, and it can inherit from table. I'm not sure if I'm going to like this idea or not. Um, build table inherits from table. Okay. Then the column definitions go here. But I don't like this like implicitness. Um, Here's an idea. Um, we can say def initialize super items options uh column definitions. Whoops. Okay. And then here, this takes items, options, and column definitions. There we go. Okay. Will all my tests still pass? No. Okay, what's it saying? Formal argument cannot be a constant. Interesting. Okay. Formal argument cannot be a constant. I'm really curious what that means. What does formal actually let's just do this. What does the error mean? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, let's try this. I actually want to just try that to see what happens. Yeah, same thing. Not surprising. Okay. And then I'll change this to a variable. Still doesn't work. Oh, I see. It's now referring to this one. It's referring to, oh yeah, duh. Yeah, and then I'm going to need this, of course. Okay. Okay, line 36. I'm guessing. Okay, hang on. Let's change this back. Yeah. Okay. And then in client, we're just initializing a table, not a build table. Let's prevent that kind of thing from happening. Raise, whoops, raise column definitions missing unless column definitions. I'm not using present because we're not in Rails. Okay, it didn't raise the exception, which is surprising. Okay, let's run just one of these tests. Table spec, line 20. No implicit conversion of symbol into integer on line 37. It was like, how is it even getting there? Because it should be raising this error. Um, Let's do this. Column definitions. Oh, it has stuff. Oh, yeah, this is okay. Has these options. Yeah, interesting. Okay, let's make column definitions the first argument. Now let's see what happens. Okay, undefined method, blah, blah, blah for no class. Um, that's still like surprising. Column definitions. Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah. Duh. Okay. Okay. Let's figure out a better way to do this. Maybe all of them can be keyword arguments. Okay. Oh, I didn't do what I meant to do. I'm gonna do that. Okay, syntax error. Okay, let's see what I did. Yeah, I think like you just can't do this. Let's try it like that. Okay, missing keyword column definitions. That is great. And actually, I am going to put it last. And I can do that now that it's a keyword argument. Same error probably. Yep. Don't even need that. Okay, now I can change this from a table to a build table. Um, man, I don't know. I don't think I want, I don't think I want to do this. Let's do it a different way. Um, build table column definitions. Okay. And here, let's do table.new and let's do column definitions, build table column definitions dot new. Yes. Okay. And let's rename this build table to build table column definitions. Okay. And I know this won't pass, but let's see what does happen. Items. Okay, what did I do? Missed the comma. Okay. We'll need to include it. Build table column definitions. Okay, still uninitialized constant. Oh. Oops. Let's try that. Unknown keyword columns. Okay. Let's do this. Options. There we go. Okay. Select called for blah, blah, blah. All right. So I want this class to behave as though the value is just the definitions there. Um, how can I make it so this class behaves like a hash? Okay. I'm also going to ask it, is there any way to simplify the syntax? Feel free to be very liberal. Okay. Um, okay. Oh, okay. Well, what about including enumerable and all that? Oops, not column module. Did you omit that? Yeah, that's not helpful, ChatGPT. Okay. Okay, well, let's do this. Self.each. Okay. And then include enumerable. Let's see what that does. Undefined method each. Okay. But maybe we also need this. Hmm. Okay, let's see what that's all about. I'm going to paste this. I do have to go in a second. I'm going to paste this. Whoops. Okay. Paste this. And paste this. And we'll see what it says about that. And actually, I'm going to try something line 45. Okay, column definitions. That each two puts um whoops. Okay, undefined method each. Yeah, okay. Column definitions. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Let's try that, I guess. And then change these to instance variables. I mean, class variables. Okay, it still doesn't work. Okay, this is fucking bullshit. So let's do something different. Um, give me a super simple example that just illustrates how I can make my own class that behaves like a hash. And you know what? Let's blow away all this stuff. I just want to get this error to go away. Let's see how we manage that. Okay, so internal hash equals that. Okay, and we do need an each, so let's do this. See if that at least makes the each error go away. Looks like it does. Okay. Okay, so what if we just say internal hash equals column definitions? Oh, okay, that made it work. Okay, and now I'll say column definitions. Whoops. Column definitions equals. Okay. It's not clear to me how that's different from before. I'm sure there was some difference that I just didn't notice, but I'm not too worried about it. I don't think I don't think getting to the bottom of that would be a profitable endeavor. So now let's just fix the other instances of problems. But this is like unwieldy. Um, what would be nice? Okay, let's go back to the one that passes. What would be nice is if we could instead do something like this. Build. Uh, builds. No, just build. Okay. Okay, so now in this table class, for a second, I'll just hard code it. Okay. Um, and then we can do something like this. Build table. We can say class name equals, and then do class name dot new. See if that works. No. Okay, constantize. Constantize. Okay. Um, column definitions. Yeah, okay. Um, we can take this, say column definitions. And how in pure Ruby we take something like build, classify? I think that's a Rails thing. Yeah. Okay. How can I mimic Rails's la uh, classify method in pure Ruby? Yes. Okay, well, I'm not worried about that. I just worried about the casing. Capitalize? Wow, okay. But I of course want to do 2s. Okay, dot 2s dot capitalize. Okay. Okay, so let's see if this still passes. It does. Okay. So now instead of having to do that really verbose thing, I can just do that. Okay, and I think this is going to be like the same for all of these. Okay, now let's run all the tests. Okay, something went wrong in build list spec. Probably because of the client class. Yep. Um, yeah, we need to do it more like the other way. Whoops. Don't need the columns because we're just going with the default. Items. Wait. What is this? Yeah, items. Hang on, I'm confused. Items. I don't know what I just did. Okay, column definitions build, items, builds, and we don't need options because we're going with the default columns. Okay. Something's still wrong. Uninitialized constant, build table column definitions. Okay, I think that's not surprising. I think it works in the test because we're doing this require. It's maybe not the appropriate place. We should instead be requiring it here. So we can say we're already in display, so we can just say build table column definitions. Okay, interesting. Do the other tests still pass? Yes. Okay, so let's see what doesn't pass. Okay, just this build list spec. Okay. So let's see what I'm doing wrong. Undefined method array syntax for nil class. Okay, line 17 of the column definition. Display helpers truncated hash. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's missing an ID, apparently. Hang on, let me do this. Okay, and apparently constantize is a pure, is a Rails thing too. What about constantize? Object.const get. Const get. Let's try something like this. Okay, so string um const get. Undefined method const get. Okay. Object.const get string. Okay. Class name.constantize. Okay. Object.const get class name dot new. Okay. So that works. Um, do the tests still not pass? They don't. So it seems like something's wrong in the test. Okay, what line of the test? Line 43. Yeah, not shocking. Oh, okay. We're not passing the options. Okay. Options. Options. Let's see what happens now. Wonderful. Okay. And is everything passing still? The one says it's still running, even though it started quite a while ago. That's concerning. Um, okay, but all this stuff works. What did I do? I decoupled the column definitions from the table class. Decouple build column definitions specifically from table class. Okay. Either it didn't get picked up yet or there's a problem. Okay, just hadn't gotten picked up yet. Okay, I want to leave a nice like loose end for me to pick up next time. Let's think. Git rebase main. Is that going to cause Oh wow, it doesn't even cause any problems. I'm actually really surprised. Okay. If I run the tests, what do we get? Okay. Yeah, not surprising. Saturn client. Yeah, this is not even close to right. Okay. Let's do that and see what happens. Right. Okay. Display table. Okay, we do have this stuff, which is good. Items, options, column definitions. Items, builds. Oh. Oh, okay, I see. Items, jobs, options, options. I'm gonna put the column definitions first. Column definitions, job. I expect that to still fail, but for a different reason. Yeah. Okay. So this will be my loose end to pick up for next time. I'll see this and I'll be like, oh, okay. We don't have the job column definitions. So that will be good. Okay. There we have it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.